Alright. Final Fantasy 14, baby. Let's get through all the story quests. And side quests. You placed the bait? Good, now you're doubtless curious as to how the trap works. It's truly simple. The mushrooms you brought induces drowsiness in chocobos. This will allow us to capture the birds without risking of causing them injury. Far gentler than pitfalls, wouldn't you say? Ba, 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 ba. There's no way in the seven hells that what I see was right. You see, last night I was taking a stroll after a few pints and stumbled upon some ominous-looking ruins. Of course, ruins are pretty common around here, but what I saw ain't. Dragons. That's right, dragons. Two of them, with great big wings and fire in their eyes. I could ran straight home at the sight of them. My memory's a bit hazy, but if it really was dragons I seen, we could all be in danger. I ain't very well go back there by myself, but well, I almost hate to ask, but do you think you could traipse on over to the ruins for me? I'll mark down the area I was wandering around on your map. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Seems that Chocobo's been stirring up trouble all around the forest. While you were gathering information, I went out and checked the traps we've set up around Tailfeather. Ain't nothing left of them but scattered straw and broken wood. Can't say we've ever dealt with a problem like this one. Might be that this Chocobo is taking some kind of revenge on us humans, and these acts are a means of provoking us. By all accounts, this Chocobo is stronger and more clever than the rest. I expect capturing it won't be a simple feat. It seems that the wild chocobo has it out for us hunters, and when one of their kind gets something like that in its head, ain't no way it'll ever be fit for riding. The only choice we have now is to put the bird down, rare as it might be. This job will require all the hands I've got, and you've proven to be a stout ally to us hunters. I want you to go along with my best trackers and find out where this monstrous chocobo lays its roots. Whereabouts of that chocobo won't be a mystery for long. Let's see. A broken trap was discovered in the vicinity of the Wylam River. That'd be a good place to start a search. Ba ba ba. Ba ba ba. Ba ba ba. Da. Ba 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 ba. Do 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 do. Ba 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 ba. Quick, quick! That was close, but I'll be all right. Don't let the bird get away. Follow it. Ain't never seen such a fight in a chocobo before, but it's all over now, I suppose. Don't worry about me, I can manage my way back to camp in a bit. Could you go and tell the chief, though? You've gone and done the deed already. Well, I'm disappointed I missed the fight, but I'm glad to see you and my men are still in one piece. Chocobos are smarter than they look, so if they start attacking people like you and me, then we got no choice but to put them down. It don't give me any pleasure, but it's gotta be done. One second. Partner, what brings you all the way out here? Any chocobo sightings I should know about? I mean, Leopard found me a real partner. I wonder what kind of bow they use. Well, best send back to Tailfeather to start my hunting career. Now that everyone's here, how about we all play nice and introduce ourselves? Geisel's a shy bloke. Why don't you try striking up the conversation? Well met, I'm Geisel, like the Geisel Green. Came to Tailfeather in hopes of making my fortune, but I didn't expect dragons and banner snatches. But I don't plan on going home empty-handed. With Chianta as my partner, we'll catch a chocobo that'll have those snobby-ish guardians groveling at our feet, right? Just when I thought I'd found a partner. Say, well, how about lending us a hand just one more time? I think someone might need it. That's what I wanted to hear. There might be hope for us after all. While some other hunters were cowering in their small clothes, I've scattered a few places that are just chock full of chocobos. I set up a few traps to the northwest of here. Scout your respective areas and we'll meet back here to share our findings. Remember, a slow hunter is a poor hunter. I guess she doesn't like him very much. Nothing here. Yeah. You didn't catch any. Whew. both here right in time. I've made the acquaintance of another hunter that's looking for a partner, and took the liberty of putting Keonta's name forward. His name is Burlecoin, and though he's only been here but a short while, he's built quite a reputation for himself. He should be over near the storehouse. Why don't you go and make your acquaintances? Finally, someone worth hunting with. Let's not waste any time. Well, I wouldn't say this, Keonta, but something about this hunter has me feeling uneasy. Look after the two and make sure nothing goes amiss. Dum ba 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 bum 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 ba 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 bum bum. What do you want? Da 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 ba 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 ba. Meet at the Northwest Camp. You do know where that is, yes? Sheesh. What a jerk. Who does he think he is? I'm a hunter, not some craven child. We'll see who catches a chocobo. Oh boy, here we go. We got a competition. Alright, I'm gonna grab some coffee. Grabbing some coffee real quick. Just gonna head out. Get some coffee.
Two muffins are sitting in an oven. One of them turns around and says, "My gosh, it's hot in here." The other one turns around and says, god, a talking muffin! It's so stupid. Two muffins are sitting in an oven. One of them turns around and says, "My gosh, it's hot in here." The other one turns around and says, "Oh my god, a talking muffin!"
NASA is a big part of why we have the cameras in our cell phones and the GPS.
One would think it would make your life easy.
Alrighty. Oh dear, here we go. He sure talks big, but I don't see him anywhere. Some hunter. If you spot any traces of him, let me know. I don't think you're supposed to bother the ones that have eggs. You're supposed to help raise the population of the chocobos. You killed a mother. That's not cool. Yeah, they're definitely not supposed to kill brooding chocobos. I've been paying attention, man. That's not cool. One of the other quests, they talked about that. La ma 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 dum.
Here. To chew.
Hey, we're live right now at twitch.tv/Wilshocker and youtube.com/@Wilshocker. Come check us out. Earn some volts. Every minute you watch, you earn points to spend on prizes, so come check it out. Thank you. Right now at twitch.tv/Wilshocker and youtube.com/@Wilshocker. Come check us out. Earn some volts. Every minute you watch, you earn points to spend on prizes, so come check it out. Thank you. Hey, we're live right now at twitch.tv/Wilshocker and youtube.com/@Wilshocker. Come check us out. Earn some volts. Every minute you watch, you earn points to spend on prizes, so come check it out. Thank you. Hey, we're live right now at twitch.tv/Wilshocker and youtube.com/@Wilshocker. Come check us out. Earn some volts. Every minute you watch, you earn points to spend on prizes, so come check it out. Thank you. Hey, we're live right now at twitch.tv/Wilshocker and youtube.com/@Wilshocker. Come check us out. Earn some volts. Every minute you watch, you earn points to spend on prizes, so come check it out. Thank you. Hey, we're live right now at twitch.tv/Wilshocker. Boo boo, ba ba, ba ba, ba ba ba, ba ba, ba ba. Kianta told me everything. It's a bloody mess of a story. You killed a defenseless chocobo while she was caring for her eggs. You've no right to be among us hunters. Huh. A child dares to lecture me on hunting. That bird was just sitting on eggs that are mine by rights. Boricon. Boricua. I ain't got the words to express my disgust. I can't stop you from hunting how you like, but you'll no longer be welcome at Tailfeather. What? You go to exile a hunter for hunting? Who gives a damn where a chocobo's laying its arse? All the hunters know the rules of the camp, and you ain't got the privilege to be excluded from them. Leave Tailfeather within the next bell, or you're liable to be hunted yourself. You, what kind of piss poor human hunters are you? A golden chocobo would be sitting on your lap, and all you do is coddle it. I don't need the likes of you anyway. Gosh. Fend for yourself, man. I should have known his sorts the moment he came strutting into camp. Well, looks like we're back on the hunt for a partner. The third arrow always strikes true, as they say. Money. I know we've had our troubles with the past couple of hunters I've introduced to Kianta to. It might be time to go about this partner business a different way. It might be best to introduce her to someone what knows their way around the chocobo trap. Just so happens, I know a seasoned hunter by the name of Huddle that's... by the name of Hude that's looking for a partner. You should be able to find him in the north part of the camp. Seek him out to make your acquaintances. A seasoned hunter, so he won't weigh me down like the others? This might be part of a profitable relationship. I'm gonna need you to look after Kianta again. Hude is known to be a dependable hunter, but one can never be too careful. You're back. Did you see the dragons? Statues, you say? Ugh, maybe I should go easier on the ale. They say those ruins up north were built by heretics. Even just going near them might have people doubting your allegiances. Well, since there's no real dragons, I guess there ain't nothing to worry about. Now that I know what sort of place it is, I'll be sure to give it a wide berth. Ah, the child's guard dog comes nipping at her heels. I'll tell you what I told her. I've been hunting since before you were a whelp at your mum's teats. I've got no inkling what Leopard told you, but I've got no patience to be holding some child's hand. Tell Lupard he's best not waste my time again when there's hunting to be done. Dang, Kianta. Does every hunter in this camp have a stick up their arse? He barely let me get a word in. But he's exactly the kind of partner I need. If I'm gonna learn hunting, who better to teach me than him? There has to be a way to convince him. We just need to put our heads together. Aha! Even a hardened hunter like him has to have a soft spot. He can't be that joyless every second of the day. He's been in this camp for a while, right? Someone is like to know him well. Might be they know how we can get him to warm up to me. Come on, Will, let's ask around to see if we can find out more about my future partner. Hude ain't exactly the type to warm up to people. He certainly hasn't warmed up to me. Can't say I know much about Hude outside of hunting. Well, come to think of it, I see him carrying around flowers. They're always the same, Gervanian lilies if I'm not mistaken. You want to know about Hude? Well, seems there's some ruins he visits often, but I've got no notion what for. Ba-ba-ba. So, what do the other hunters have to say about Houday? Dravanian lilies. I just knew we'd find his weakness if we dug deep enough. Although I would have never guessed it'd be flowers. When I present him with a lovely Dravanian lily, he's sure to open up to me. I've heard tell of the lady lilies growing near the northeast camp. Just wait, Houday, you'll be my partner yet. Look, Will, a Dravanian lily. I would pick it myself, but you see, I'm like to forget my own strength and crush it. That's why you need to pick the lily for me. Really? Jeez. Houday, I brought this for you. Aren't you that? What's this? A Dravanian lily? You think you can win me over with a flower? What in the seven hells were you thinking? I could pick as many of these damn lilies as I please on my own. It doesn't matter what you do, you ain't fit to be my partner. I seen a hunter coddling a hatchling none too long ago. I reckon he'd be more befitting. Gosh. What a stubborn old fool. Flowers usually never fail. I'll just have to think of some other way. Well, that sucks. I can't give up on Houday yet. He needs to be my partner. We can't give up. We have to find him. Will, come with me, and we can cover more ground. Don't get lost in the woods. I saw him head off to the northeast. Hurry before we lose his trail. These side stories are actually kind of interesting. I'm surprised. Wish I could fly. Maybe I should do the side quests when I unlock flying. Does that make sense? That makes more sense, right? Yeah, let's do that. That's much faster. I hate not being able to fly, dude. Bum 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 bum. Nice song. Very cool song. The Overmind must now be aware of our intrusion. Let us press into the hive and ensure that we have our host's undivided attention. That should be sufficient. If we did not have our host's full attention before, we must surely have it now. Our audience with the primal may be granted soon after your capture. And pray advise me once you have steeled your mind for the battle to come. Lord of the Hive. You prepared then? Hold here, Will. When next the Nath come, we offer no resistance. Surrender, intruders. There is no escape. Enough. We surrender. We throw ourselves upon the mercy of your God. Here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. They seem eager to proceed. Good. When they take us before their lord, pray leave matters to me. If I know what of summoning rituals hold true, I shall be well placed to act. Mark the sound of the river rushing through the ravine behind us. Passing loud, is it not? I imagine the noise would serve to mask our escape should we need to withdraw temporarily. But you are prepared, are you not? I do so hope so. If I were to be dragged away for sacrifice while you were haggling over the price of potions, I should not be amused. Though I dismissed Master Alphino's concerns, I confess that I did wonder how the Nath might treat their prisoners. Happily, it would seem they are not wanted to harm sacrifices, nor even disarm them. Plainly, they imagine their god invulnerable. The plan goes better than expected. Oh, well, you just filled in that little plot hole, didn't you? Try to escape and we will break your fleshy legs. Try to escape and we will break your fleshy legs. Bum 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 ba 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 ba.
Now we have but to wait.
O Lord Ravana, master of the sacred blades, wrath of the colony, conqueror of the world, hear our prayer. Pray grant unto your devoted children the gift of your divine presence.
Whoo!
He comes.
It's Ifrit 2.0.
All strength to the colony. Speak and I shall listen.
Oh, glorious General, we have captured intruders and would make unto you an offering of their life's blood.
These feeble fleshlings dared to invade Natlands.
Hear me, Lord Ravana. My companion and I did not come to contest your children's territory. We wished only to learn the reason you wage war against the dragons.
Thou wouldst flirt with death merely to satisfy thy curiosity. Wherefore should the glorious conquests of the Nath concern thee so, Elysium? Ah, mayhap thine own kind struggle against the worms fareth poorly, and thou art desirous of a pact.
We crave no alliance, Lord Ravana. Only peace. We would bring an end to our war with the dragons. Yet so long as they remain embroiled in this conflict with your children, our goal shall remain out of reach. Never before have the Nath risen up in such numbers, and never yet with you at their head. Why do you lead them to war?
Thy question hath no meaning. To live is but to fight. Long have my children waited, gathering their strength in the shadow of thy ceaseless conflict. The Nath would see the Dravanians slain, and their territory secured. And by such fervent prayers am I now given form and purpose.
As I feared, your very existence is an obstacle to our goal. Since you are so fond of fighting, we challenge you, Lord of the Nath. And should we emerge the victors, I would have you swear to withdraw your soldiers from Dravanian soil.
Thou art bold indeed to risk thy fleshy hide so readily. Very well. I, Ravana, fourfold master of the blade, do accept thy challenge. But should I emerge the victor, I would have thee swear to serve in mine army till thy last breath is spent. Do you accept?
I do. And I believe the first bout is mine.
What is this? A god clad in flesh?
Is aught amiss, my lord? Thou wilt not break thy word, I trust.
Mine oath is unbending as steel, little goddess. Thy ruse will but add to mine enjoyment.
I thought myself stronger. Mayhap with more crystals?
Be thou god or maid, thou art nothing to me. And what of thee, mortal? Art thou warrior or craven?
That was pretty cool. This little bout, Shiva versus Ravana.
A warrior, then? Good! Mayhap thou will provide more sport than thy feeble companion.
Your Shiva transformation is weak, yo. Alright, while waiting, let's figure out something else to do. I guess I'll use the bathroom again.
Hello everybody and welcome back. This should be coming out on Monday, and that's right, you've seen the title. I'm doing bald till six pack. I'm doing a challenge video. This is just for my own personal reasons because I've allowed myself to get fucking fat. I'm about 280 pounds right now, and my body is really not happy about it. I've got sleep apnea, and my bones are deteriorating, and it feels like my ankles are made of glass. I feel like if I get a little bit fat, debilitatingly fat. I'm on the road to 300 right now if I don't do something drastic. So I'm going to shave my head, and I am going to remain bald until I have a six-pack. I've never had a six-pack at any point in my life, even when I was a kid. So this is going to be a pretty extreme challenge. I'm 280. For reference, I'm going to put some pictures up here. This is what I looked like about 2 years ago. I was 215 pounds. This is what I looked like about 6 months ago. I was 265. This is the first sincere lifting I've ever done in my life. I hired a trainer, and I saw the trainer for about 2 years, gained about 50 pounds, was fantastic. But then I've gained another like 15 pounds since then, and of that 50, probably most of it was fat. Of that 15, I think 100% of it's fat. So I've got at least 50 or 60 pounds of fat to lose. This is what I look like right now. The great unclean one. So on the light end, I've got like 60 pounds to lose, maybe more like 70. I might not see abs until I'm 200 or 210. If I have to lose 70 or 80 pounds, this is probably a 12-month challenge. And we're gonna do a little cut here in a minute because I haven't obviously shaved my head yet, but I will in a minute. So that's it. I don't know how often I'll put in updates on this process and how it's going. Maybe like once a month. Leave a comment down below if you even want an update, or should I just check back in 6 months with abs or 12 months with abs? Okay, let me know down below. But here's the transition. Oh shit! I've had this hair for the last 5 years. I'm not gonna lie, I grew it out just during COVID, and I just didn't feel like getting a haircut. But then once I had long hair, and this is a bit of an admission, right? Because I'm not a vain person generally, but this hair has made me vain, which is part of the reason it needs to go. Also, it's about to be summer in Texas, it's about to be 105 degrees. So having long hair is miserable. I have a lot of sympathy for women with long hair. But I grew this out just because I was lazy, and then I kept it grown out because I kept getting compliments. People kept complimenting my hair, especially women. Women love it. They love playing with it and braiding it and brushing it. I'm like a stallion. I'm like a kept horse, and they groom and pamper me. It's great, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having long hair. It pisses me off. It's annoying to deal with. It gets so greasy and nasty. I'm a greasy dude. It has to be washed like every 12 hours in order to not be a greasy mess. And so it's going to be extremely satisfying to shave it off because, especially when I was a youth, for most of my life I just had a buzzed head. It wasn't until I got to college that I started growing it out, and even then it just barely past my ears. It wasn't until COVID that I actually grew it long. And so, okay, 3, 2, 1. Here comes the transition. And I'm back. Oh yes. Look at that. Look at it. You hear that? Fucking bald fuck. Oh, it feels good. It was driving home with the windows open and the breeze hitting my scalp was a incredible experience. This is so indulgent because it's about to be Texas summer rather. It's gonna be so goddamn hot. It is every year. I've been here for years. I don't know why I'm saying that, but this is just, it's immeasurable how much this is gonna improve my experience of the Texas winter. And, oh yeah. Oh, I had to get the beard trimmed up at the same time, obviously. Okay, so the challenge. I cannot grow this back until I have a 6-pack. Simple as. Obviously the beard grows a couple inches a month. There's nothing I can do about that, and I wouldn't want to, right? It's one thing to shave this, but the beard's never going anywhere. The beard's here to stay. The red beard, come on. So, that's it. I don't think I have anything else to say. It's just incredible, man. 5 years of fucking growing my hair.
You may see all this recent negativity as a knee-jerk overreaction to something that really isn't that serious. It's not. It's serious. Boycott Nintendo. I want to make it very clear that the reasons I'm calling for this boycott have nothing to do with creative decisions that Nintendo have made or are making in their launch slate. This is all about business. And as a consumer of Nintendo products, I have every right to push back on ruthless business strategies. This is not about people who make games. This is about people who sell them. Nintendo absolutely deserves to be called out. And that's why I feel so confident saying boycott Nintendo. And I say that as a massive fan of Nintendo. The Super Nintendo was my first console. My top 10 games of all time would mostly be filled with Nintendo games. I've been really excited for the Switch 2, but now I've decided that I won't be getting one. Not because I think the games don't look good, because I don't think the company deserves my money. I say boycott Nintendo because I want them to change and be better, not because I want them to go out of business. I love Nintendo, boycott Nintendo. I'm gonna go through some of the reasons for that now, but this is all information that I have as of today, the 5th of April. This is all subject to change, and if it does, I'll put something in comment. So here's what I have for now. It's not just about the price, although that's definitely the straw that broke the camel's back, and we'll get to it soon. There is more to it than that. There's a lot of people repeating drop the price in those Nintendo live streams they're doing, but even if they did that, they still have a lot to answer for. The first thing I want to talk about is this thing about the physical game key cards. Some of the Switch 2 games you buy will not have the game data on them. The cartridges will be empty, with the exception of the code that will allow you to download the game. I should say from the outset, there's a lot of misinformation online about this. This isn't all games. This doesn't include any of the first-party games that we know of. I've seen this argument used as a reason why this isn't such a bad thing. No, if only a fraction of Switch 2 games did this, it's still a terrible thing. This isn't one games company coming out and saying their game doesn't fit on one particular cartridge. This is a feature that Nintendo has advertised. It's coming from them. If there are certain games coming to their platform that do not fit on their cartridges, they should be prioritizing better storage for their cartridges, but it's not a storage problem. Bravely Default is only 11 gigs. There's no reason why this data shouldn't be on the cartridge. None. My first thought with all of this was, holy shit, this is what Microsoft did with the Xbox One. No more pre-owned games, no more lending your games to your friends, and that's why they revealed those digital game cards. It's not a fun new feature, it's a replacement. I've seen some places report that these are not tied to your account and can be traded and used like physical cartridges, but I can't find anything from Nintendo directly. This is all still developed developing, and I'll keep you updated, but regardless of whether these are tied to your console or not, it's really fucking annoying. If you're like me, you buy physical copies of games you're likely to play quite a bit from time to time to save up on taking space on your Switch. You can't do that anymore because the keycard doesn't allow you to download onto the card itself, but onto your Switch too. The Nintendo website says this: please note, to download the game, you must have enough free space in your Nintendo Switch system space card. So, you must...
as a blaze! Rejoice in the glory of combat! Unyielding of the earth! Thus does the sacred rite of combat proclaim the victor. I lay my blades at thy feet, child of man.
All right, there we go. Ba, 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 ba.
You do not disappoint, warrior of light. Would that I had your skill in battle. I do begin to see why so many place their faith in you. For all his savagery, I do not think Ravana one to break his word. Provided the dragons do not trespass upon Nath lands, they should have little to fear of the Primal's biting blades. We have done well, have we not? Come, let us return to Vidofnir and share these glad tidings.
Ba 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 ba.
Once more you achieve the impossible, bringer of light. But with every mortal heart that succumbs to fear and fury, another voice is joined to the chorus, beseeching divine succor. At their bidding, warring gods will shake the firmament, and your world will be consumed in the swelling storm of chaos.
Never since we first fought have I seen you draw upon the full extent of your power, and never from afar till this day. You were a marvel to behold. 'Tis time we rejoined our companions. They will be eager to hear the tale and to continue our journey. Oh my god, I can't believe I got over that. Ha 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 ha. Lord Ravana, you say? How curious that the Vath never mentioned his name. And you are quite certain he will keep his word? There was honor beneath his savagery. That we survived the encounter at all was a miracle I must attribute to Will. Never did I doubt you, a warrior of light, unlike some. You were gone so long that Master Alphino were nigh lost his wits with worry, fretting like a maid for her sweetheart he was. Estinian, was that truly necessary? Ha ha ha, not truly necessary, but certainly true. What matters is that the primal is banished, and our promise fulfilled. We should return to Vidaldnir without delay. Lest you forget, this was what it means to secure an audience with the Wormhraes Vulgar. Nidhogg's minions will not be halted by idle chatter. Come now, we must make every moment count. You are unkind, Estinian. For all his experience and intellect, Alphino is still but a boy. Shall we be on our way to Annex Shrine then? Or would not have the dragons think that we have forgotten our bargain? We are honored to have you return to our humble hive. There is something which weighs heavy on our mind, very heavy. We have a newcomer to Los's Vath. He has not yet proved himself useful, and so he has no name. So determined is he to find his place that he left the sanctuary to forage in the forests of the east. He has not returned. It has been difficult of late, very difficult. We have grown country, and food remains scarce. The One Mind has seen to that. The Nameless One means well, but he is highly curious with his newfound senses. This makes him vulnerable. The forest is the domain of the hunters, and his intentions may be misunderstood, for men have not the means to tell Van from Nath at a glance. Will you not lend us your assistance in finding him? Will you travel to the hunters of the east and ask if they have seen him? All done, little one. As promised, I shall open the way to some all summit for thee and thy companions. Ba 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 ba. Heed me now, children of man. The domain you seek to enter has not seen visitors of your kind in nigh on 1,000 years. Though I freely grant you passage, your presence will not be welcomed. To my kin, this mountain is revered as holy ground and resting place both. Wear you the minions of Nidhogg during your ascent, for it is certain they shall take great offense at your intrusion. We are grateful for your warnings, gentle Vidofnir. My final words are for thee, Dragoon. Have care to keep the stolen power thou wieldest in check, lest it breed further despair. Estinian. The way is open. Let us not tarry here. A moment. Shall we blindly forge on, knowing the dangers that await us? Tiumen herself is sent to guard this peak. I do not fear Nidhogg's consort. Any dragon foolish enough to bar our path shall feel the sting of my lance. Spoken like a true butcher. Need I remind you that we are come to parley a peace? Let us be clear, heretic. 'Twas to save Ishgard and her people that I first lent my support to this doubtful venture, and 'tis for their sake that I go now to speak with Hreysvalgr. But I said nothing of Tiumen. Should the opportunity present itself to rid my people of one of their deadliest enemies, I shall take it. That is my duty as Azure Dragoon. You are beyond redemption. We will accomplish nothing by bickering. If we are to meet with Hreysvalgr, our path leads up the mountain. We shall defend ourselves if attacked, but avoid conflict wherever possible. What other choice do we have?
Som all. Som all. Oh.
Answer for Baylor. Did I miss a message? I'm sorry. Yeah, so I never thought they were gonna.
Mystical leaves beyond belief in the vegetable.
Trump has helped free your wallets and your 401ks of their money, as stocks lost $6.6 trillion in value, the biggest two-day wipeout in United States history. And since Trump's inauguration day, the markets have lost $11 trillion. Also in the fallout, Autumn.
This is treatment tip for all the content creators, either still going or starting. This is streamer tip for all the content creators, either still going or starting in 2025. If you join a support community and they have a leveling system or some kind of requirement you have to complete either once or every month to post your links and your content, advertise your channel, that is not a support group. That is someone's personal streaming community that they are parading as a support group to make you help them before they even think about helping you. And 9 times out of 10, they don't help you. They are lying, and they're going to kick you out the second you stop being beneficial. You deserve better. Your content is valid. Your content's your expression, and you deserve better. Find better. Be better.
Ever wonder what it takes to get...
Guys, you want to be honest with you? I don't know how many of you guys are invested in crypto or stocks. What the fuck is going on with our country? Guys, why am I poor? Like, what is going on in the world right now? Why the fuck is this going on? Can somebody please explain what's going on? Why are we all losing? Why are we all negative right now? Like, does anybody know why? Guys, you want to be honest with you?
Ezale does not look happy that they had to fight. Poor Ezale. Do 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 do. Thus do we add another link to the chain of vengeance. O Saint Shiva, when will it end?
To the peak of Som Al, at the end of a perilous mountain path, whence could be seen a string of pearl-like islands floating impossibly atop a sea of clouds. To a domain where dragons and men had once lived in harmony, whose majesty no mortal eye had glimpsed for nigh on 1,000 years, they came.
The churning mists. Here we go. I have never seen Father so excited. I pray you are ready. To think you could even defeat our father. I'm sorry to have doubted your strength before. Will you take him the scale? He's likely returned to the tower to rest. I'm gonna take a short break. I'll cut the video here. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more next time. Alright, let me take a breather.
cost $12 million to make. GTA 5 has made, over the past 6-7 years, $8 billion.
So by now, you've probably heard everything under the sun on what these tariffs are doing to the stock market. But when Trump was asked today point blank about the stock market, he shrugged and smiled and said, it's working. Now, if you know, you know. Allow me to break this down. Revenues from the S&P 500 are 41% foreign-based. That's huge. So when you're looking at multinational companies that are going to be hit with this tariff, they're scrambling. Let's just take Nike, for example, because they're a huge multinational company. Nike stock is not doing well. Now, the only thing that the shareholders and the CEO of Nike are concerned about is obviously their stock. Now, if Nike was to stay competitive in the US market with these tariffs, do you really think they're going to increase their prices 25% to the consumer? That would be asinine. Why? Well, if they increase their prices to 25% to the consumer, people won't be buying Nikes nearly as much as they did. And if they don't buy Nikes as much as they did, with their stock value plummeting, they're screwed. So what will Nike do? First of all, they're not going to pass on all of the tariffs to the consumer. They will absorb a lot of these tariffs. Second, they can't avoid these tariffs. They have no choice but to bring that manufacturing back to the United States. Now, where's the evidence of this? Well, Ford is already doing this. So is Toyota. Ford is offering employee pricing to every car. Employee pricing is like 10 to 20% cheaper than the invoice pricing. Toyota right now is doing a massive social media campaign to let the consumer know which cars in their brand are made in the United States so they can sell more cars. You see, when you think like a corporation, you understand what's going on. Right now, a lot of this fear is coming from the countries to where these corporations have homes. These countries do not want these companies to move. The only way to hurt a mega corporation is to hit them in the pocket. Now, to the bleeding heart liberal, this should be good news because this is the best way to stick it to the corporations. Back to Nike. If you're Nike and you're getting hit with 25% tariff, and you still need to be competitive in the US market, the last thing you will do is raise your prices on these Air Jordans or any type of sneaker. If you did so, your stock would plummet even more. This was the only way to get the manufacturing back into the United States, and it's already happening. You see, the smart companies have already jumped ship and came to the U.S.
I mean, we can switch lives. I have asked so many people this question, no one has gotten it right. How do you pronounce that name right there? Take a guess. You won't get it right. And you're not wrong for not getting it right because it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. My friend is a teacher, and then she came across this name, and she's doing roll call on one of the first days, and she goes, and I'm guessing like, Jacum, when I first heard this story. Do you know how it's pronounced? Noel. She said it's Noel, and you're probably thinking, how is that possible? Because she said JKMN, there's no L there, and it skips the L, so it's pronounced Noel. Yeah, there are real parents who decided to name their child that and are going to have that conversation every single time they write their name down. I have asked so many people this question, no one has gotten it right. How do you...
The brand new Ionos Premium Belly Bolt EX collection is here. It comes with this awesome promo, and this is the...
It's gonna decide the better.
You like your new toy?
Okay, so Alexander...
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long. As
You can enjoy a new membership benefit exclusively on Switch 2.
This is gonna be GameCube. I hate how it's exclusive, but this is gonna be GameCube. Let's go! Let's get it! Oh!
Nintendo Switch
Dong was supposed to be in this for me. We would have been going crazy.
Exclusive.
Dang it, Dong. Let's go.
Nintendo GameCube. Originally released in 2001.
Oh, I hate how it's exclusive. But
of Zelda game that looks
don't matter to me because I'm getting the Switch too. The fact it's still part of just the expansion pack.
It's a Donkey Kong. Yes. Yeah. Is this 3D? Is this a 3D? Bro, look at him. Oh! They changed him so much. The way he looks. I am so psyched, dude. Yes! New Donkey Kong. 3D destroy things. The game world looks interesting. Looks like he's on an alien planet, not like in the jungle, you know? I swear though, this game has been rumored for like 4 or 5 years.
I find that I do better in bad markets. I buy things in bad markets.
Welcome to the...
Tiramisu at 1.
That's it. And honestly, it's actually very good for our own, for everything that's manufactured and...
What's up? It's Wilshocker. Let's go. Recently heard back from one of our scouts. The Nath are gathering supplies in the smoldering wastes, intending to launch incursions against us from there. This creates a hazardous situation for us. We need your help, Hunter. Take this Squintstone and locate their supply wagon somewhere between here and that hive. Set them alight. Reduce their supplies to ashes. This is no easy task, but you have proven yourself capable. This Nath you described seems to have awakened, to have found the gift of self-awareness. This is good news. We have a new sister. Hunter, please instruct us, our new sister, to come here to Lotha's spot. Woo! Speedy fly! Sound like a kobold. Speedy fly into the air sky. how hungry we were. We could not help ourselves, unable to hunt, unable to forage. We are no different from a parasite. If only we could find a way to release ourselves from this pitiful way of life. Well, if you insist. You misunderstand. Spare us our life. It is all we have. I spare it he will. Stop tormenting the poor creature, Grimold. He doesn't know any better. We ain't savages, but we ain't charitable neither. You'll have to pay us back for the greens you ate, and seeing as you don't have anything on you of value, it looks like you'll have to work off your debt. Last I checked, we're running a mite low on arrow shafts. Harvest me some malia branches and we'll call it a square, eh? Very well. Release us and we shall do as you say. Of course, I ain't fool enough to let him go off alone. I'd ask that you see to it that the beastman don't flee from his stat. And if he does, I'll have every hunter from here to the hunted to the 100 throws after him for thievery, understand? So we have to babysit this guy? Gotta babysit this guy. What the heck is that? Look at that giant green smoke. Is that the Nath doing that? That's the Nath doing that, dude. Holy crap. Look at that hive. That is one heck of a location. Lothas Nath. What a great people. The non-mind says there are others, other Nath like us. We understand. We shall go there now. We must, or we will be destroyed. Thank you, kind fleshling. Alright, let's do this. 3 hours of streaming. I got so lucky finding this. Wow. There we go. She's got a mentor. I love it. That's great. Worked really hard for that payoff, didn't we? Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Worked really hard for that payoff.
It's actually very good for our...
Alright. Having lunch soon. Having lunch soon, baby. Woohoo!
must either have enough storage or re-download them every time a friend makes the offhanded suggestion, want to play Street Fighter. That's fucking stupid. That's why the core reasons to buy physical media as opposed to digital to save digital storage space. It's much less convenient than buying digital, because although it's still taking up storage on your Switch 2, the keycard needs to be inserted. Meaning if you wanted to switch from Street Fighter to Bravely Default, you need to swap the cartridges, even though they're just empty plastic and the data is on the console itself. There is no reason for this. It doesn't make any sense. And it raises a lot of questions. If the game is patched in a way that you don't like, the original game that you may prefer is lost. You don't have the original physical media. The game is whatever Nintendo decides it should be, and what happens in the next console generation. What does your keycard do then? What happens when the Switch 2 eShop shuts down in the same way previous consoles have? These cartridges are less functional, have a much shorter half-life, and cost more money. Microsoft handled that Xbox One situation really badly. It lost them the console war that generation and have since struggled to recover. Phil Spencer has since said that it was a massive wake-up call for them and drove them to be more consumer-friendly. Nintendo is doing a very similar thing now. The difference between the Xbox One and the Switch 2 is that the Switch 2 is a handheld system. So picture this. You're at the airport with your Switch 2. You decide that you're going to buy a duty-free game and play it on your 16-hour flight. Well, you better hope the airport Wi-Fi lets you download a 70-gig file before boarding, bucko, or you're not playing your brand new game that you just bought for $80 US. While we're on that, let's talk about pricing. Nintendo hid all of this in the recent Direct for a very good reason. They knew it would make people angry. But all of the discussion I've seen about this have just focused on Mario Kart World. It's not just Mario Kart World. Pre-orders for most of the world are not available until next week, but in Australia, we're able to pre-order both the Switch 2 and select games right now from two of the biggest retailers, EB Games and JB Hi-Fi. The price that Mario Kart World is set at is shared by other launch games as well, not big new first-party games, but re-releases of much older games. Even when it's available for a fraction of that price on other platforms. But these are Australian prices. I don't know how it would work wherever you are, and this is all subject to change. People are talking a lot about the US prices and blaming the recent tariff situation, but look at the UK. £74.99 for Mario Kart World is $97 US. That's insane. The current tariff situation in America isn't the reason for this, but could affect things very soon, because pre-orders have just been halted in the US due to some recent announcements by Trump, and it could be soon that American Nintendo fans will be looking to pay even more. Australian prices for games are really weird. Around the time the Switch's release, a new game was priced at around 80 to 100 Australian dollars, which is about 50 to 60 USD, and that's the price that Switch games still sell for here. But in between that time, the other consoles have had a new generation. In Australia, we saw a massive price increase, from $80 to $100 to around and above $120, which is about the price that people are so angry at currently with Nintendo. We paid for that for all our non-Nintendo games for years now. We're suckers. In fact, unlike other countries, we have the privilege of paying less for Switch 2 games than current PS5 games. But even though it's less, it's still too much, because these games never go down in price, and they very rarely go on sale, and when they do, it's not for a very significant discount. There is no buy now or wait for a sale question with Nintendo. It's buy at this price or don't. That's why the price difference is so difficult to swallow, even for Australia, where the price change is more in line with the competition. And before you say, but inflation, no fucking no. Because although prices were higher in the past when accounting for inflation, the old Nintendo was once much more consumer-friendly. The Super Nintendo was my first console. Adjusting for inflation, it was sold for about $460 US. The Switch price, adjusted for inflation, was about $391 US. But that's not taking into account all of the other charges. The Super Nintendo came with 2 controllers. The Switch came with 2 Joy-Con controllers and 1 Joy-Con grip to combine them. The single Joy-Cons are pretty much useless, and the combined grip controller isn't great. So I'd say if you have a Switch, it's pretty likely that you either have a Pro controller or something like it. That adds about $70 US. It puts it at the same price as the Super Nintendo, but that's not taking into account the monthly fee that is mandatory to get access to any and all online functionality. It also doesn't account for all the extra storage space you'll need to be buying, especially now that even your game cartridges don't have games on them. Gaming is much more of a lifestyle than ever before. There are so many more games than there were on those early consoles, so you are buying more games than people did back then and spending more time playing them. Even if the Switch 2 did come with 2 Pro controllers and online was free, it still wouldn't make sense to adjust pricing for one simple reason. It's not just about the price of the units, it's about units sold. The Super Nintendo sold for 49.1 million units worldwide. The Switch sold for 150.86 million units and is their highest selling console of all time. And that's not taking into account the large array of merchandise. Nintendo now has theme park deals, they have movie deals. In the last 25 years, since the year 2000, Nintendo has increased its market value by over 10 times. Don't you dare tell me, won't somebody please think of inflation? Nintendo is doing just fine. They're not going out of business if they continue selling at their current prices. They aren't covering their losses. They just want more money. And it should be obvious that this ripples out. The problem is not whether you think these games on this hardware are worth this price, because everyone else is watching this. Do you think Sony and Microsoft are currently sitting back in their chairs thinking, wow, that's expensive, but we'd never do that, we're consumer friendly? No. They're waiting to see if it affects Nintendo's bottom line, and if it doesn't, they're pressing the big red $80 US button too, because they have no reason to if it doesn't stop you from reaching for your wallet. Sony and Microsoft do, however, a much better job selling stuff to us than Nintendo. Australian pricing aside, all of these game companies offer complimentary services to ease the sting of paying a monthly fee for online services. Yes, they are typically more expensive than Nintendo's online fee, but they offer so much more. Nintendo offers a selection of very, very old games. They offer some additional functionality and some services, but broadly speaking, they're pretty much direct ports, and it is a very limited selection, a fraction of their back catalogue with some very notable absences. Microsoft and Sony, however, offer free monthly games and access to a massive catalogue, hundreds of games long. Not just old games, new ones. Sometimes brand new ones. Animal Well was on here day one. Most games I play are on the PlayStation Plus library. Nintendo doesn't have an equivalent. To play Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, and now GameCube games, you need to buy the upper tier, the expansion pack. The expansion pack also allows access to some additional features, such as access to the expansion passes to some modern first-party Nintendo games. But speaking now at the end of the Switch lifecycle that features only 3 games. There are a ton of other Nintendo games with very similar expansion passes, even Splatoon 3. But this feature is completely restricted to just these 3 games. If you don't have them, it's useless. There is no legitimate reason for this. This feature should include all first-party expansion passes. It makes no sense to only include these 3 games. It was announced with the Switch 2 that the expansion pack membership will allow you to upgrade both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom to the Nintendo Switch 2 editions at no additional cost. That's pretty neat. There's only these 2 games. For Kirby and Mario Party, you still need to pay for the upgrade. There is no good reason the expansion pack should include all Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades. But even if they
Okay, let's get back. I need your help. Brother has been gravely injured. I fear he will not survive long in such a weakened state. He must feed to regain his strength. Meet me at the river. We will gather food for him. To the river down south. Hold on. I gotta go talk to this other dragon. What have you brought me? This is what they eat in the Chocobo Forest? Ugh, disgusting. Why would one sear the flesh of the meat? The natural flavors are all but gone now. A strange breed indeed. Ba, 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 ba. See what he says. It's a wonder any of this stuff works at all. I'm surprised this game has not had any major bugs. Like there's been very few technical errors with this game. Very impressive. Where are we? There are wyverns. Wyverns everywhere. We are scared. This place is scary. We wish for a safe place. The wyvern is dead. We feel much safer. But where should we go? We do not know what to do. Los das Bath? We will go there. We will join our brothers. Thank you. Good, you're here. Let us hunt Jackal and Lothan. They are brothers' favorite, and easy prey besides. Logaton's graze north of here, but I am forbidden from traveling so far upstream. You must hunt one for me. I will remain here and hunt the Jagil. Go swiftly. Finally done with that line of quests. Holy moly. That was a lot. Alright, if you're tuning in on YouTube, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I'm going to cut the video and start a new one. So, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with more next time. Okay, and now we're going to change the directory that I store my recordings in, because output path, I can't change the path.